Hi, Assalamualaikum. It's Miss Shuhada here. Welcome to Let's Write with Miss Shuhada. Today, what we are going to learn is how to construct sentences. Apa yang kita nak belajar hari ini adalah macam mana kita nak bina ayat. Okay, sebelum kita mula, I would like you to prepare a piece of paper and a pencil. Sediakan kertas dan juga pensel. Okay. So, when we want to write, there are few things that we have to keep in mind. What are they? Okay. First, subject, verb dan juga object. Okay. What are subjects, verbs, object ni? Apa benda ni? Okay. For subject, we should think about the people or things in our story. Think about the characters that we are going to write about. Then, for the verb, of course, is the action. What the people or things in the story do. And next, we have the object. Okay, they do what? What apa dengan apa? And for this time, I would like to add the place. People, things, action, object and place. Dekat mana orang tu ataupun people buat benda tu. Okay. Okay, untuk topik hari ni, for today's topic is a trip to the beach. Who doesn't like to go to the beach, right? So why don't we share our experience in the story? Tells people about our trip to the beach. Okay. Before we move on, let's think about the four elements: people, action, object, and also the place. First, the people. Who are the people in the story? Okay, here we have my family and I. And what the people in the story do? We plan. First we plan. Before we go to the trip, we plan. And then the object. Plan what? Of course, we plan a trip. And trip to where? Okay, untuk place dia, where? We plan a trip to the beach. Okay, these four elements are very important. Very simple but important. Okay, fikirkan benda ni, apa yang kita nak. Okay, and when we combine all the four elements, we will have a complete sentence. My family plans a trip to the beach. Okay. Okay, now here is the sentence that we had just now. My family plans a trip to the beach. Okay. When we have the first sentence, we can add the time in front of the sentence. Okay, for us to write a story, it's preferably to have the time frame. So, and when you add the time, make sure to take note whether your story is in present tense ataupun past tense. Bila kita tambah je waktu masa dalam cerita, kena fikirkan cerita kita tu dalam past tense ataupun dalam present tense. Okay. Untuk case hari ni, untuk topik hari ni, teacher nak masukkan last Saturday. Okay. Last Saturday meaning it's already happened. When it's already happened, of course the story will be in past tense. So, daripada plans tadi, verb tadi, action tadi, plans, P-L-A-I-N-S, teacher tukarkan kepada P-L-A-N-N-E-D, planned. Okay, sebab dia dah berlaku. So, it's in past tense. Bila cerita awak dalam past tense, verb dalam cerita awak pun kena dalam past tense. And we will have last Saturday, my family planned a trip to the beach. Okay, that is our first sentence for our story. So, before we go to the beach, we plan for the trip. And in the planning, we will have to prepare. These three pictures will help you how to plan your story, how to plan your flow. Okay, as usual, before we go for a trip, we need to have these three things actually. We have the food, okay, and then we pack the food and put our stuff, put our bags in the car, and then we are ready for the trip. Okay, 3 gambar ni akan bantu awak. Macam mana awak nak buat flow jalan cerita awak dalam paragraf 1 tu. Kita dah ada tadi ayat yang pertama kan. Last Saturday, my family planned a trip to the beach. Okay. Kita tengok gambar yang pertama untuk paragraf ni. Okay, then bila ada gambar tu, when you have a picture, you look at the picture, what do you see? You see a basket. What's inside the basket? Apa yang ada dalam basket tu? You have food or drinks or fruits or beverages, sandwiches. You can have a lot of things in the basket, right? As long as you just write around the picture. Okay? And then when we want to write the sentence, we'll think about these 4 elements. People, action, object, and place. Dah ready nak buat ayat, fikirkan 4 benda ni. People, siapa, action, and then object dan juga tempat. Okay. Let's look at one by one. People. Apa kaitan people tu dengan basket tadi? Of course, my mother. What did my mother do? My mother prepare the basket kan? Selalunya yang masak siapa? Yang sediakan makanan tu siapa? Of course, my mother. So, what did my mother do? So, the action for my mother, we pack. Instead of cook, we use the word pack. Sebab apa? Kalau cook tu semuanya makanan, tak semestinya makanan kita masak kan? Kadang-kadang kita just assemble few things, then wadah, we have the sandwich. So we pack. Pack what? Kita nak tapau apa? Some food and drinks, object. And then place. Kat mana? Nak letak kat mana makanan-makanan tu? Where should we put the food and drinks? Now we have in a picnic basket. So fikirkan tentang 4 elemen ni. Dalam satu gambar tu, fikirkan tentang 4 elemen ni, kita akan dapat satu ayat yang lengkap. Okay. Dan kita akan dapat ayat macam ni. My mother packed some food and drinks in a picnic basket. Kan dah dapat satu ayat yang lengkap. Kita dah dapat satu ayat yang lengkap. Okay, let's move on. Second picture. Gambar kedua. Kita akan, okay, after we pack all the food and stuff, we will put things. What do you see in the picture? We see things. Okay, bags, float, semua tu things lah tu. Bags, floats. Float tu apa? Float tu pelampung. Of course, when we go to the beach or to the swimming pool or to the waterfall, we will bring our float, kan? Nak buat ayat je, when we want to make a sentence, think about these 4 elements. People, action, object, and place. Who are the people in the picture? We. Tak nak dah asyik guna my family kan? Kita guna we. We use pronoun we. And then, what do we do? Kita letak, kita guna verb put. Put what? Object, benda apa? Our bags and floats. Where? In the car. Okay. So, as long as you have these 4 elements, voila, you'll have a complete sentence. We put our bags and floats in the car. Okay. Dapat tak? Teacher harap awak dapat. Okay. Tak apa, kalau rasa laju, you can go back after this. Okay. There's a lot of latihan lagi kita boleh buat sama-sama hari ni. Let's move on to the third picture. See, what do you see here? You see car. Then you see someone driving the car. Mestilah kalau ada kereta, mestilah ada orang yang drive, kan? And then who drove the car? Who drive the car? Of course, father. Think about these 4 elements. People. Who involved in the activity? My father. Okay. My father do what? My father drove. Remember, instead of drive, kita guna drove because our story is in past tense. Then drove what? Drove us. Us tu kami. Okay. Where? To the beach. Okay. So we'll have this sentence. My father drove us to the beach. So this sentence actually explain how are we going to get to the beach. Macam mana kita nak sampai kat beach tu, kan? Oh, my father yang drive the car. My father drove the car, kan? Okay, now you have a paragraph. Okay, let's look for paragraph 1. Remember, our first sentence, last Saturday my family planned a trip to the beach. And we have the food. My mother packed some food and drinks in a picnic basket. And for the second picture, after we pack the food and drinks, we put our bags and float in the car. And then what do? After we got ready all done, my father drove us to the beach. So now you have your first paragraph. So let's combine all these 4 sentences into a paragraph. Last Saturday, my family planned a trip to the beach. My mother packed some food and drinks in a picnic basket. We put our bags and clothes in the car, and my father drove us to the beach. Okay, now you are ready. This is how your paragraph number 1 will look like. Let's move on to paragraph number 2. Okay, paragraph number 2 is the climax for your story. Apa yang berlaku? Ingat balik, topik kita adalah a trip to the beach. So, paragraph number 2 usually talk about what happened at the beach. Okay, my first sentence is, after 30 minutes on the road, we finally arrived at the beach. Okay, kalau teacher memang teacher suka, paragraph number 2 terus cakap apa yang berlaku, apa sebenarnya kita nak cerita kat orang. Okay, so just add on the element of time here. How long have you been on the road? Okay, after 30 minutes on the road, we finally arrived at the beach. And here are the pictures for you to help you construct the sentences. Okay, we have the food, then we have the activity on the beach, and then finally we add the food. Okay, let's go move on to the first picture for paragraph number 2. Okay, here what do you see? What do you see here? You have the food. So what do? We lay the food. We lay out the food. Kita lay out tu maksudnya kita susun lah makanan tu atas tikar ataupun atas kain tu, kan? And where? Kat mana tu food tu? Oh, atas tikar on a mat. Okay. Then, kat mana kita letak benda tu sebenarnya? Oh, under a shady tree. Teacher memang suka under a shady tree ni. This phrase actually teacher suka. Sebab apa? When we go to the picnic, kita pergi piknik ke, kita pergi kat waterfall, kita mesti cari pokok yang besar-besar, kan, supaya redup je kita kat bawah tu. So, pokok yang rendang tu lah kita panggil shady tree. Okay? Nak buat ayat? Dah ready nak buat ayat? Kita fikirkan 4 benda tadi. People, action, object dan place. These 4 elements. Okay. People. Who involved with the action in the picture. Walaupun tak ada orang, tapi kita tahu takkan makanan tu tersedia sendiri, kan? Oh, kita tahu mesti ada orang yang lay out the food. We can put we, or you can say my mother, or my father, or my sister. Terpulang pada awak. So here we put we. And then we do what? We laid out the food. Okay. Sebenarnya laid out je tu. Okay, laid out tu sebab apa? Sebab dalam past tense. Kalau lay, present tense. Laid tu past tense. We laid out the food. Where? Okay, kat mana? On a big mat. Under a shady tree. Dekat sini teacher dah combine kan. Bila teacher bahagi-bahagikan benda ni, jadi macam ni. Okay. We laid out the food on a big mat under a shady tree. Supaya mudah untuk awak bahagi-bahagikan kepada 4 benda. Okay. And now we have the complete sentence. We, people, laid out the food. Buat apa? Kita susunkan makanan tu dengan apa? On a big mat under a shady tree. So next, so we lay out the food. What do we do? Of course, this is the exciting part. Okay, what do you see? Oh, people swim and then people build sandcastle. Okay, that's what we usually do at the beach kan. Ini apa yang selalu kita buat dekat beach. Okay, kalau awak ada buat selain daripada benda ni pun boleh. Put in the sentence. Nak letak kat mana? Kita akan letak kat action dia. So, people who are involved, we're talking about our family tadi kan. So, we use we lah. Jangan cakap pasal orang lain. Okay, we use we. Kita cakap pasal diri kita. We do what? We had. Okay, kenapa kita guna had ni? Sebab kita nak guna swim tu sebagai objek dia. We had a swim. Swim where? In the crystal clear water. Kita berenang kat mana? Oh, dalam air yang jernih. In the crystal clear water tu. Okay. For this one picture. Tak semestinya satu gambar satu ayat. We can have more than one sentence. Okay. Let's try to do second sentence. Build sandcastle. Okay. Who are the people involved? Again, we. Then we. Or maybe you can say then my sister and I. Or my brother and I. Okay, boleh juga. We. Do what? We build. Okay, kita bina. Build tu bina. Object, a huge sandcastle. Kita add on lah adjective sikit dekat awak punya objek tu. Kan? Huge tu meaning big. Huge sandcastle where? On the beach. So now, instead of one sentence, you have two sentences based only one picture. Here are the sentences. We had a swim in the crystal clear water. Then we built a huge sand castle on the beach. One picture, two sentences, kan? Now, after that, what do we do? This third picture is one of the most exciting part of going for a trip or a picnic, kan? We felt hungry. Daripada gambar ni kita kata hungry. Hungry tu lapar. And then because we are hungry, we add the food. Okay, the four element, people, action, object and place. Who are the people? We. Okay, kat sini kita letak our stomach. Tukar sikit. Nak menunjukkan keadaan kita yang lapar tu, kita tukar. Macam mana kita nak tunjukkan kita lapar? Oh, our stomach. Stomach tu perut. Kan? Perut kami. Perut kami ni buat apa? Boleh ke perut kami ni buat action? Can. Work. Dia tak buat lah macam menari, but then it produce some sound kan? We're growling. Our stomach were growling. Ingat tak bila kita lapar, perut kita bunyi-bunyi geruk tu. Itulah our stomach were growling. Menunjukkan yang kita ni hungry. So when people read your sentence, our stomach were growling. Oh dia lapar. Orang dah tahu dah, growling tu maksudnya dia lapar. Kan? Kat sini tak ada place lah sebab kita tahu perut kita kat mana, kat badan kita. Kalau kita cakap our stomach were growling on my body, tak. Okay, so because our stomach were growling, so we change. People tadi we, action, kita buat apa? Change, tukar. Into dry clothes, kita tukar baju kita ke pakaian yang kering. And add the food, dan makan makanan yang kita bawa tadi. So again, with this one picture, we can have two sentences. Okay. Our stomachs were growling. So, we change into dry clothes and add the food. Perut kami dah berbunyi. Jadi, kami pun tukar baju dan makan makanan. Let's combine all the sentences we have for paragraph number 2. Remember the sentence that we already have? After 30 minutes on the road, we finally arrive at the beach. We have the food. We laid out the food on the big mat under a shady tree. Then we wrote about what we do. We had a swim in the crystal clear water. Then we built a huge sandcastle on the beach. Then the third picture. Our stomachs were growling, so we changed into dry clothes and ate the food. So here we have about 6 sentences for paragraph number 2. Okay, let's combine all the sentences. With just 3 pictures, you can have a lot of sentences. Okay. After 30 minutes on the road, we finally arrived at the beach. We laid out the food on a big mat under a shady tree. We had a swim in the crystal clear water. Then we built a huge sandcastle on the beach. Our stomachs were growling, so we changed into dry clothes and ate the food. So here you are. You already have paragraph number 2. Let's move on to the third paragraph. Okay, usually third paragraph ni memang anti-climax. So this is the conclusion, it's the closure for your story. Okay, it was time to go home. So here we only have 2 pictures, but these 2 pictures are very important. Okay, let's look at the first one. What do you see here? You see clean. The children's cleaning. Clean what? Clean the rubbish. Okay. So when we want to write a sentence, people who? We. You can say, my father and I pun boleh. My mother and my father pun boleh. Okay. Do what? We clean. Kita bersihkan. Bersihkan apa? We clean up our picnic spot. Kita bersihkan tempat kita piknik tu. Okay. Now, for this one, these 4 phrases, okay, these phrases are enough for you. We clean up the picnic spot. But here I add some phrases into the sentence, okay? We clean up our picnic spot and make sure to not leave anything behind. Kami bersihkan tempat berkelah kami dan pastikan tidak tinggalkan apa-apa pun barang. Sebab it's very important when you go for a picnic, make sure not to leave anything behind you. Jangan tinggalkan apa-apa kat tempat kita berkelah tu. Okay, kita nak tempat yang kita dah berkelah tadi tu bersih untuk orang lain guna pula. Okay. Then for second picture, what do you see? Happy faces kan? Walaupun dia penat, lah penat. We had a swim just now. Kita dah mandi laut kan? Seronok-seronok. Mestilah kita penat. But we are happy. Look at the faces, the happy faces. Okay. People who? We. Kat sini dia tulis although tired. Although tired tu maksudnya walaupun penat. We. Walaupun penat, kami. Action were, for the verb were. Object happy. Okay. Kenapa kita happy? Kita tambah lagi lah kan? Kita dah boleh buat ayat tadi, so kita tambah sikit ni. Kenapa kita happy? Because we had, we had a great time at the beach. Here is the sentence. Although tired, we were happy because we had a great time at the beach. Walaupun penat, kami berasa gembira kerana kami dapat berseronok. Kami mempunyai masa yang seronok dekat mana? Dekat beach. So let's combine all the sentences. So we clean up our picnic spot and make sure to not leave anything behind. Then, although tired, we were happy because we had a great time at the beach. Let's combine. It was time to go home. We cleaned up our picnic spot and made sure to not leave anything behind. Although tired, we were happy because we had a great time at the beach. Ta-da! Now you have your third paragraph. Now this is the closure. Kan? Tak susah kan? So let's combine all these 3 paragraphs into one story. Trip to the beach. Last Saturday, my family planned a trip to the beach. My mother packed some food and drink in the picnic basket. We put our bags and floats in the car. My father drove us to the beach. After 30 minutes on the road, we finally arrived at the beach. We laid out the food on a big mat under a shady tree. We had a swim in the crystal clear water. Then we built a huge sandcastle on the beach. Our stomachs were growling, so we changed into dry clothes and ate the food. It was time to go home. We cleaned up our picnic spot and made sure to not leave anything behind. Although tired, we were happy because we had a great time at the beach. Ta-da! Now you have a complete three paragraph for your story. Tak susah sebenarnya, as long as you think about these four elements: people, action, object, and the place. Siapa, buat apa, dengan apa, dan di mana benda tu berlaku. So bila awak combine, awak akan dapat satu cerita yang macam ni. Tak susah, tapi yang penting practice make perfect. Jangan malas-malas untuk practice buat ayat. Okay? I think that's all for today. All the best to all of you. Bye. See you next time.